And we are actually live right now, ChatGDG episode 21 after teeny tiny break of just 5 months. Yeah, just it's been a long one, so sorry, life happens. We have two amazing, not just guests, friends, first of all. So we've got Natalie and we've got Jai. Hello, both.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us. And then we've got I forgot your cat name. Sorry.
This is Romeo, and he is
Romeo.
an absolute honorable guest of ChatGDG. I could
Absolutely.
not come here without him being here as well.
Yeah, yes, it's been a long one, so sorry, life happens. We have two amazing, not just guests, friends.
I can hear you in the background.
Yeah, same, which is interesting.
Do you have a clone?
Maybe no. Okay. Maybe it's fine now. Yes, I don't hear myself anymore. I don't know what happened, so should be fine. Now, so these amazing guests are not just cloud experts. They are actually GDE, so Google Developer Experts. Both are GDG organizers. Both are Women Tech Maker ambassadors. I think you need to be GDSC now, GDSC lead. Get back to uni, get there, and you have all four. So yeah, that's been.
No,
great.
we have another one.
Champions.
Oh yeah, champion innovators as well.
Oh my God, champions innovator. Wow, you are so many things. That's incredible. That's incredible. So it's really good to have you here. So for the few people they don't knew already, would you mind to do a brief intro about yourself, starting of course with Natalie?
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Natalie. I live in London. I'm Ukrainian. I do all things cloud, and I'm very passionate about building platforms and reading logs, and less passionate about Kubernetes, which will be a differentiating factor with Jai, I think. I do lots of things around tech community. Like Stefano mentioned, GDG's organization talking. This year I decided to venture out into YouTube and do less public speaking and more YouTube, so content creation, that sort of thing. We often joke within the GDE community that GDEs are content creators, and I assume that role fully. And I do lots of things aside from tech. I do photography, I travel a lot, I volunteer, and I cuddle my cats whenever I can, of course.
Cool. Very, very busy. Yeah. Busy life. Jai?
Yes. Thank you. Great presentation, Natalie. I mean, introduction, sorry. How am I going to top that? So my name's Jai, software engineer based in London as well. Stefano kind of mentioned I'm a GDE. I do a lot of community work. I really believe in upskilling individuals, giving different people opportunities to get into the tech industry, and I really find a lot of enjoyment in that. I work for a company called Jellyfish, where I'm the lead cloud and security engineer. I do a lot of work around Kubernetes, DevSecOps, so Natalie, let's catch up offline for sure. And I used to have a cat when I was a little boy, so I need to get a cat in my house. Don't spend time with my cat, but I spend time with my daughter on the weekends, so that gives me a lot of joy and fulfillment. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself.
Nice one. So once again, it's amazing to have you both, right? On the show, which is great. So, lots to talk about, because all of us, we do a bunch of things, which is great. But there is one outstanding item, which is called Las Vegas. So for the people who don't know, the both of you went to Google Next in Las Vegas like a month ago, something like 6 weeks ago, or something like that. I'm not jealous at all. Not jealous at all. No. 2 weeks ago. Perfect. My concept of
and
time.
Who is jet lagged out of us?
Yeah, me, because for some reason, even if I stayed here in London. So I'm not jealous, at all. Nah, because you went and I did not, so it's fine. I want to kill you both. No, so seriously though. So that was hopefully amazing. I know that you, Jai, you also gave a talk
I did. I was quite lucky and fortunate enough to give the talk.
Which is, I say, that's really high in your CV right now. Just, I'm Jai. I gave a talk at Google Next, and then all the rest. Okay, so I'm really super curious to ask you both the experience, what's up there, what was, everything. The floor is open. This time, if you don't mind, Nat, we start with Jai this time.
Absolutely, go for
So,
it.
Jai, go for it. Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, Las Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Las Vegas.
Yeah, okay. And that's the end of the show. No.
I really enjoyed it, actually. My first time in Nevada, my first time in Las Vegas. I found it to be really interesting, like a city built in the desert. So it was really fun to have the conference there. And I found the people really cool, like just the people that are from Las Vegas as well. The journey for me was awesome. So I also traveled with another GDE, Jason Berryman. So it was quite a fun journey, sharing the plane with another GDE, having that conversation and so forth. And I stayed in one of the casino hotels, the Luxor. So that was an experience in itself. So outside of Vegas, which kind of I fell in love with, the conference was really awesome as well. I kind of missed the old conference center, so the Moscone in San Francisco. But I thought having it in the convention center kind of split with the casino was really cool. So yeah, I had a really good time.
Did you spend all your money at the casino? No.
Well,
that is the part that stays in Las Vegas.
Ooh, nice spot. Sorry, there is Maurizio. Hey, Maurizio. Hi, really happy to see ChatGDG again. Maurizio, founder of GDG Cloud Modena. I know him personally. Good to see you, Maurizio. Good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, wow, super cool. So was the first time that the Next was there instead of the Moscone Center, right? So something a little bit new for them as well, I guess.
Yeah.
Did you find any differences, maybe comparing, this edition with the previous one?
I felt like I spent a lot more time walking.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me pull up my URA stats.
Yeah, just the way it was kind of set out felt like there was a lot of walking, but it was really big. I think it was larger than San Francisco as well in terms of
attendees.
I think it was twice as big as San Francisco, 30,000 people, I think.
Oh my God, 30,000. Oh my God. These numbers are incredible. We cannot even think about the scale. Okay, pretty good. What about the talk? So you gave a talk. I mean, come on.
I did. So my talk was site reliability engineering best practices with Gemini. And then it's been rebranded to Code Assist. But essentially, I was walking through how you can use Gemini, so artificial intelligence, to help with SRE, so troubleshooting, having a look at logs. Natalie, you will love it because you won't have to spend so much time in logs. So it can augment what you do already. And then how it can kind of make you more productive and save you time in the actual console when you're deploying applications into Google Cloud. It was really fun to give that talk, especially with all the new announcements. It felt a lot like the conference was really focused on AI as well. So my talk kind of fit the theme if you would like. And my name as well, JAI.
Everything is, when the stars align, it's like, okay, that's my moment. How was, emotionally? Did you feel nervous? What was the deal there?
Yeah, I always get nervous before giving a talk. Even got nervous today before doing this session with you.
The scale maybe is a little bit not exactly the same.
But I guess it's like with anything, right? You kind of get yourself into the mode, into the moment. But I really enjoyed it, especially kind of talking about these kind of new products to the wider community and kind of bridging the gap. I think is one of those areas where you don't traditionally think about SRE with artificial intelligence. So to kind of talk about something new and how you can bring them both together was really good. Some interesting questions from the audience as well. So yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, there was a Q&A session. So, interesting. Yeah. All right, Nat, what about you? What's your Las Vegas experience?
It wasn't my first time in Las Vegas, and I had very high expectations actually, because I went in 2019. I went to reInvent, the AWS one, or the one that we shall not name, but it was like the reInvent has been in Las Vegas for years and years and years, and it's kind of, at least in 2019, it was 60,000 people. They take over the
Whoa.
strip. It goes on in multiple different hotels. You need to plan your day to be in one hotel each day, basically, and plan your tracks. And there are like commercial tracks and developer tracks. I went with my team at the time, and we had such a good time. Such a good time. So, like, I mean, my top memories from that time were flying a helicopter into the Grand Canyon and dancing with Anderson .Paak. So
Okay.
I had high
Ooh.
expectations, and it was very different but fun, like very fun. So I flew in on Sunday. And actually, I was going with Zencor, with my company. We are headquartered in California, so the San Francisco version of Cloud Next was like the holy grail, the event of the year where everybody would go. And this year, because they moved to Las Vegas with the aim to make it bigger, to make Cloud Next bigger, and I was being there like, so you're now competing with the likes of DEF CON and Black Hat and reInvent, which are technical. Please be technical, which like Cloud Next is famous for being a more of a commercial event rather than a technical event for engineers to learn things. And so I was like expecting and wondering how it will be, because like, how do you make it twice as large? They opened the CFPs for the first time ever. So in previous editions, you had to be invited by a Googler and do a product focused talk. And this year, for the first time, they opened CFPs for the main conference. In the previous years, you would have the Innovators Hive, which would be like a theater on the expo floor, big space, but a 15-minute talk, engineering focused, kind of innovation community focused. That was open to the community. I remember when I joined GDEs, we got an invitation to apply for that. And this year, the CFPs were open for the breakout, the 45-minute proper technical sessions, which I did apply for and did not get accepted.
Next time.
Next.
Yeah.
I might kind of harass every Googler I know for the next time.
Yeah, that can work.
To present with them. But yeah, super big, super large. I didn't spend enough time hanging out and partying not as much as I would want to, because unfortunately the dry air and the aircon and the jet lag got to me and I got very sick. But I still went to sessions and met the rest of Zencor, basically, because most of the company was there and our South American team was there, and it was incredible. I can't describe the feeling of these people, you work with these people. We're fully remote, right? The European team, I've seen them. We sometimes fly in different cities and hang out. I've seen the leadership team because they have come to Europe a couple of times. But the Argentinian and the Chilean team, I've only ever seen them on Slack, but we work together closely. And now I was sitting on the party bus going to dinner with this music and insane lighting and a dancing pole in the middle of the bus. And I'm sitting 1 meter away from these people. What is life? What is this life? So meeting them and hanging out with them, and of course meeting all of the champion innovators. I wish I would spend more time. I wish I would be more present to spend more time with each person individually, because like people from France who I already know, people from Stockholm who I already know, I wish I would have time to hang out with them more and connect with them more, and kind of feel a little bit bad for that. But hey, such is life. It was still really fun to meet those who you only know from online, and kind of chat and exchange experiences, and then go to these sessions and hear these announcements and be there for the announcements. That was very fun as well.
Wow. Okay. I'm not jealous. Again, I'm not jealous at all. No, it's fine. Cool. No, jokes aside, I think, yeah, I'm really happy for both of you. I think those are the experiences that, they're really on point, and we are really lucky to be in this industry that, every now and then we can attend these amazing, conferences with these amazing people, because at the end of the day, it's all about people, right?
Yeah.
So what's like quick question to, either of you, in terms of the announcements, in terms of what happened there, the new shiny things, which was the one that you said, this one really is really interesting?
I have one straight away. I don't know if you have someone.
No, please go ahead.
For me, it was the one at the. So there were a couple of keynotes with the main announcements. The first keynote I watched from my hotel room, because I will not be there at 7:30 in the morning to be there physically.
Because you are not a morning person, by the way, for anyone people you are.
And even less when I'm jet lagged and about to become very ill. Yeah, the image that I create for myself online. Anyway, the developer keynote, which was on day 2, that was kind of like obviously very AI focused, but I'm really into data platforms. I love building platforms that do something with data. I think it's magical, the things and the insights that we can build when we have the means to give the data into the hands of people who know how to work with it and what to do with it. So the announcement was Gen AI augmented, of course, real-time data processing in BigQuery, within BigQuery, with publishing that real-time data into PubSub within BigQuery. You write a SQL statement, and for anyone who has ever built like a data processing pipeline, you will know why it's so mind-blowing. You write a SQL statement that and you click a little thing that says, I think it was continuous processing. So usually what you do, you write a SQL statement, it processes the data, it outputs the data. You can batch it and load the query to run every so often. And you say that it's like near real time when it's like every 5 minutes. No, you can stream data into the query and process it continuously without having to launch that query on a schedule. It is continuously processing the data as soon as it arrives. Within the same SQL statement, you say, bring up whatever Gemini model and get me the sentiment, or augment this data based on this and these characteristics, do some Gen AI within that streaming, continuously processing BigQuery SQL statement. And within the same SQL statement, you say, publish to PubSub.
Mic drop.
Come on. Wow.
Wow. Okay.
That's so powerful.
Fun times, I guess. What about you, Jai?
Yeah, just BigQuery inception, right? With all the processes.
yeah, exactly.
Well, and PubSub topic then can be ingested back into BigQuery, by the way.
Christopher Nolan was the principal engineer for this change, I guess. What did you find like one of these kind of new shiny things that really caught your attention?
I had quite a few. So obviously, I loved all the announcements about Gemini 1.5 being released, GA, now official. The hypercomputer, I know that Natalie is also a big fan of that as well. So I love hardware. from in my early days, actually fooling around with old computer consoles like Segas and Nintendos is how I got into software engineering. So from in front of the motherboard, and then my eyes just light up like a little, with joy, I should say. But yeah, the hypercomputers. So all the improvements with the new GPUs and GPUs and TPUs and so forth within data centers that are making it much more scalable. Really, I think it's going to elevate Google Cloud and Google themselves into being the leader in terms of AI-driven decisions and companies moving to AI. But that was the highlight for me for sure. And then I think a second highlight would be just the prompt engineering. If you've been to any kind of conference or meetup or reading any blog posts recently, prompt engineering in terms of leveraging generative AI is the kind of way to kind of improve your career and your productivity. And to see Gemini being embedded and a part of all these different products and solutions across the whole Google Cloud Suite and Workspace, I think is going to be a game changer for sure. So really interested to use that as well.
Interesting one. So you said prompt engineering, right? So everyone, I think at this point, knows roughly what it is and all of that. My question, again, for either of you is, do you think that at some point going forward, we will have as a job title, as a role, the prompt engineer, and that's it? So not like something clearly on top of software engineering skill, DevOps, cloud engineering, cloud architect. No, I am a prompt engineer. Full stop. That's my job title. That's my full-time job. Is that a thing, or is still a side kind of?
Can I go first on this one? So I'm not a specialist in this area. So I definitely think, just from looking at the tech industry, from looking at SRE and DevOps, I think in the short term, we will have prompt engineers, and possibly in the longer term, we will have them as a job title. I think as people become more proficient with AI and companies become more confident in the usage, I think prompt engineering will be a part of your job role. So regardless of where you sit in the business, you will be doing prompt engineering as part of your daily workflow. But yeah, definitely in the short term, I see prompt engineers being a thing.
Because you're engineering the prompt for what, right? You can be a prompt engineer for like generating marketing materials, or a prompt engineer for processing, I don't know, large documents to embed that prompt into your software product that you sell, right? So it's kind of, I don't know if you can just be an engineer for prompts generically. That said, DevOps engineer also shouldn't be a job title, yet it is.
There you go. Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
Okay.
Well, DevOps is a culture, right?
Yeah. It's seen. Yes.
And I held the title DevOps engineer for many years, and I still say that I'm a system/cloud/DevOps/platform engineer/architect, whatever the job title is in the next 6 months. But yeah, it is a culture. So you could also ask like, oh, well, what are you exactly developer operating? If you're a DevOps engineer. So maybe it could be like niched into something specific and become a job title.
Yeah,
that's interesting, right? I mean, by the way, if I remember correctly, where you were back at Babylon, like not too long ago, like sometimes ago, the latest job title was staff DevOps engineer.
Staff platform engineer.
Platform engineer, yes, not DevOps, platform. Which I guess platform is more. It makes more sense in my eyes, because platform is DevOpsy, but also
you're building infrastructure that you make
infrastructure. It is exactly
product.
Infrastructure. So platform, engineering clearly makes more sense. But now if you ask anyone, I'm a DevOps, which means by saying that, people should immediately realize, okay, this guy or this person works with that system, the infrastructure, but platform probably is more, correct.
Yeah, because you can also be a DevOps engineer on the software side and deal with the DevX, developer experience and pipelines and those.
Tooling teams. Exactly. So the team the platform team that we have at the time, so we've got platform team, which belong to us, if that makes sense. They actually do both. So they deal with the infrastructure that we use, so AWS in that case, all the lambdas and whatnot, but also with the pipeline, right? So there is this. So what the product, quote unquote, product teams needs. So the product teams, they they build and release the product, but clearly that is seen as it's called a platform team, but that's seen as a very important tooling team, is DX, is infrastructure, is many things. So yeah, it's interesting. I think we are still in this evolution phase, if that makes sense. We haven't figured that out fully yet, so it's interesting. I think
yeah, we're early in the cycle of the AI kind of era, right? Just to quickly add to that as well, if you look at what a lot of the software companies are pushing, it's a notion of companion AI, right?
Okay.
So you have an AI that kind of understands either what you're doing in your workflow or understands your business needs. And I think as that kind of matures as well, it's going to bring AI a lot closer to individuals in terms of what they're doing. So yeah, definitely, I think prompt engineering will be something that we all do to some extent. And we kind of do it already, right? When we're doing searches and so forth, we're kind of leveraging AI. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think quite a few people nowadays uses, even a 20%, the GitHub, Copilot, all these kind of tools that, if used in the right way, they should, enhance the experience. It's not like, hey, ChatGPT, write this code whilst you watch Netflix. No, you should leverage this tool in order to give you, to save sometimes for the boilerplate. So, the boring, repetitive tasks. But you, as a human being, you should, as an engineer, actually, you should be there and be sure that things, okay, this is work as I expect it to work, not because external tool says so. So that I'm, quite familiar with that from the software, the pure, software engineering point of view. So I'm curious that things can easily be applied to more on the infrastructure, DevOpsy side of things, like when you need to spin a Kubernetes instance. So can you, how okay, that's the question actually. How much can you delegate to an AI assistant?
As a cloud architect, not much. Writing pipelines, for example, writing YAML for like GitHub Actions or Azure DevOps. The first time I worked with Azure DevOps and didn't want to throw my laptop out of the window 2 minutes into working with Azure DevOps was when I asked ChatGPT or Gemini, I don't remember, to write me the pipeline. Okay. That works really well. Then on the cloud side, infrastructure side, platform side, like figuring out how things work together, really not that great. And we need to remember that though that is such a specific knowledge that isn't gonna be possible to be generated based on existing text or knowledge that it ingested, right? So it hallucinates a whole lot, like a lot. So you need to understand, at least for the type of job that I do, where I imagine systems and then implement those systems, I need to understand how those systems work. I can maybe unblock myself by asking vague questions that if I don't know the question yet, maybe it can point me into the direction of where I need to point my research, where I need to direct my research. But if I just ask it to how do I connect DynamoDB through a VPN tunnel into GCP?
Okay.
Not gonna do it.
And do you think that is a limitation? Because clearly AI, has some limitation, but this can be fixed in the future, because that's also the point. People say, AI doesn't do this thing. Okay, fine.
Mhm.
Now, what about in 18 months? Not like 18 years, 18
Yeah.
months. So
So
that's also an interesting.
yeah, I have a friend who develops LLMs, actually
Cool.
creates LLMs. And it's really, really handy to have a friend like that, because anytime there is some drama or a question like this, I can
Yeah.
go to him and say, hey, this question. And he would be like, it is a statistical mathematical model. It predicts the next possible word for the current word. It will not do that.
Okay.
So he's always very, very, very pragmatic about it. Like, it's not gonna do miracles. It might be better in it because we like feed it, like what Jay mentioned, a specialized LLM that specializes in your area of knowledge. Maybe, but how do you teach someone systems thinking when not all humans are capable of systems thinking? Don't know. Jay, what do you think?
I'm a bit of a fantasist with AI. So coming from all,
Dream big.
yeah, dream
Mhm.
big. I'd like to think in the future that we will get to kind of that stage where we have these really smart models and AI systems, even different from the ones that we're using now, that can kind of do these things. I think if we look at what Google are doing and what GitHub is doing with GitHub Copilot and then with Gemini Assist, Code Assist, sorry, with some of the more larger partners that they're working with, they're doing a bit more of the advanced use cases where they're giving the models and the agents a bit more autonomy to kind of make decisions. But then it kind of comes down to the company as well, right? If you've got a product or a system, you'd rather have a human signing off on a change rather than an AI system, because like you say, if it hallucinates and does it wrong, you could lose money. So there's that.
Interesting. I mean,
Mm.
that's the future anyway, right? So there is
Mm.
very little
Yeah.
that we can do, I think, about it. I can see going in that direction. So
Mm.
we shall see, I guess.
Like code assist and troubleshooting maybe has, like, I can see more potential in code stuff and troubleshooting. Like Gemini, the X-Duet AI, the tools that Google Cloud has. If you enable it and if you subscribe to it, you can have a co-pilot within the console with you and ask it questions like select a log entry, for example, in cloud logging, and ask the AI assistant to explain that log entry, for example. That's handy. It hallucinates. Still, it will for sure get better. That one I think will for sure get better, because there are that is more about pattern recognition, like logs and analyzing errors, analyzing stack traces, analyzing what happens, even like what happens with network packets as they traverse VPCs and all of the new generation firewalls and all of those things that are getting more and more and more and more complex and more and more and more abstracted. It's still a pattern recognition. So, and same with the code, right? There are thousands and millions of ways of writing the same function, but it's still a pattern of how you write those things. And maybe you can teach it to detect like the most used pattern and base off of that. Whereas I think maybe systems building is a little bit more complex, and like performance tuning, like reliability practices and figuring out how to scale something properly. There are so many contextual details that go into it that it's a little bit, I think it's a little bit more tricky. So there still needs to be a human imagination behind it.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. So I mean, we'll see. For sure, things are gonna change quite quick. So
For sure.
we don't have to wait long, I guess, in order to see some things. Okay, cool. We had look who's here.
Oh,
I don't know if
Eddie. Hello, Eddie.
if you know this guy Eddie. I don't know if you know him. No one's know him in the tech world. No, he's very unknown. Yeah, he's a good friend of us. An amazing, just an amazing person. Sorry, I'm late. Okay.
Can I quickly jump in? We've got Eddie
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
So I was going through all my like merch after the conference, and I found one of Eddie's old business cards. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah. Nice. Yes, Eddie.
Classic. So thanks for coming down.
Classic, you know.
Uh,
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you, Eddie. Eddie is for the 4th year in a row GitHub Star of the year. Just, and that's it. And we leave it at that.
Yeah.
That's you. I know that's you. So Eddie, you should come on the show. I know. I already reached out to you. You need to, settle in. You've got a couple of things going on, but yes, I want you on the show very, very soon. Thanks, Jay. He appreciates it.
it almost sounded
Yeah.
like a threat.
Yeah.
You on the show.
Yeah. So let's get back to basics. I am someone who doesn't know anything about tech, coding, all this complicated stuff. I watch this show and I see, senior cloud architect, cloud and security engineer. What do you do? How would you explain your job to a very junior person or maybe a non-technical person, like cloud architect? What is that about? If I already know what you say. If I say, I don't like coding, can I become a cloud architect?
Yes, please do. I hate coding. The way I explain what I do to people who don't know anything about tech is take your phone, and any app that is running on your phone has a system behind it that is taking care of that app. Every app these days specifically, before you might have a system, an app that just runs on your phone. But nowadays, like your YouTube, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your habit tracking app where you're logging that you have had 5 cups of coffee today and you have promised your mom that you would only have 2. All of those things need a system behind to store that data, to figure out who you are when you open the app, to figure out how to help you better. If you have AI assists that's all based on your behavior, the algorithm that we all talk about, that system needs to run on something. So there is software part that is on your phone, and that there is software part that is running somewhere else. That software part that is running somewhere else needs to run on something. So it needs compute power, it needs data storage, it needs databases, some certain structure to store the data, networks, security, authentication. We need to protect it from being stolen, that data that it stores about you. I build those systems, the ones that run all of the stuff that you eventually end up using as an end user. I built the platforms and the systems for it.
Cool. I think that was pretty, the explanation was flawless. In terms of the security part, like what are the risks? Can you jump in, Jai?
Yes, certainly. So kind of building on what Natalie just spoke about, I work with the teams that actually build these products and services. And then in terms of the security, I work with them to ensure that we don't get hacked, that our applications and our infrastructure is safe. It depends on the applications and the region of the world that you're in, and kind of the products that you're serving is going to be the threat actors, right? If you're serving meat, if you're an organization that sells meat, you might have an organization or a group that doesn't like they might be vegetarian. So they might be hacking your systems to stop you from selling meat, right? So it's understanding who might be the threat actor against your organization. And then again, when writing code for your applications, it's understanding, is there any vulnerabilities in the actual code that we're writing, or in any of the packages that we might be using as part of that process? So it's kind of having that kind of holistic view in terms of everything that you're doing, in terms of your applications, even in your engineering teams, right? You might have someone in your team might get fired, or they might leave the company, and they could take code out of the organization or introduce a bug. So it's kind of understanding all the different vectors. and then educating the team in time of kind of working through that, having reviews, and then doing assessments, running vulnerability checks. So it's quite a broad subject because security covers so many different aspects. So
you really need to be, on top of your game. I mean, because I would imagine that especially in security land, there are maybe the new way of hacking. You should really be on top of your game every single day, pretty much. Really, it's not something that, I learned this skill and I'm fine for the next 10 years, probably not even 10 minutes. But, so that's true for the whole software engineering, platform engineering, whatever engineering, but especially, I would imagine, in this field, in this section of the engineering world, you should really be up to date.
Yeah. Security and cloud, to be honest, and platform infra in general. It was something I was participating in some discussions about future of development and I don't like when I'm being referred to as a developer. Again, I don't like coding. I build things. Imagine platforms. I create platforms. But that's a joke. But the one of the things that kind of emerged as a concern because of the AI and the rise of kind of, you could just ask a chat bot and it will generate you code, like what's the future of developers? And one of the concerns that kind of emerged was that software developers would be a little bit anxious that they need to learn new skills all the time.
Ed is fine. Ed trusts everyone. No problem.
Eddie is an open source, by the way. That is actually, that must be a very different view on software security. You have the entire community working on potentially simultaneously introducing threats and fixing those threats. But back to the concern. The concern was that software developers were starting to be anxious that they would need to learn new things and new skills very quickly all the time because of the rise of low code, no code. And I couldn't understand why that is a concern. And eventually I understood. The difference is that in cloud infra platforms and open source, you have to learn new things all the time. That's the nature of the job. If you're a software developer, maybe you've learned Java and backend development, and you can focus your entire career on Java backend development. Whereas as a cloud architect, today I'm looking at things that I don't know about. Tomorrow I'll be looking at other things that I don't know about, and it's constantly like that. So maybe, and in security as well, it's the same thing. It is even more a nature of tech in general, like you're saying, Stefano, tech in general is about learning constantly. But I feel like infra/cloud and security are even next level in that sense.
Yeah.
Things are always changing.
Okay. Yeah. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. Now, another question for actually either of you, but both of you. Both of you have had an interesting, career so far. You definitely be working since a month, so you've got pretty decent chunk of experience. What was, especially in this infrastructure security field, the one time that you say, I fucked up?
Infrastructure therapy session, yes, my favorite type of session.
Yeah.
That's like a job interview question, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in engineering.
Yeah.
Would you like to go?
Can you tell me that time when?
I have a couple of examples off the top of my head, Jay, if you want to take a moment to think what you are safe to share.
Yeah, go ahead. Far away.
I was an intern at my first proper job, DevOps engineering intern, and my task, I was working on a monitoring agent with Nagios and Isinga 2. to monitor message buses, like IBM message queues and message buses. We're talking Linux, we're talking physical infrastructure. And I wanted to alert if the server had lost network connectivity. So I was SSH'd into the server. It wasn't it was a virtual machine running on a physical hypervisor, but still physical infra. I was SSH'd into the server and I turned off ETH0. ETH0 is the main network connection. I wanted to test if it works. But what was I SSH'd into? ETH0.
For the joy of all the people there, I would imagine that landed pretty quite well with everyone.
There is a serial port connection, of course, but when I messaged one of the other core Linux team members, like, hi.
Sorry,
No.
my bad. Okay, that was fun. Jai, anything from your side?
Yeah, I have one a little bit similar, actually. So I was working on a large digital transformation project. We was moving away from a Microsoft environment into AWS, and we was working in the evening. So I was the lead engineer on that project, and we had to switch the DNS servers over and the domain controllers to move them into AWS. So the domain controller in DNS handles all the communication authorization on the Windows network. It allows you to log in, browse your files, and so forth. The main, I had remoted in, so it wasn't SSH, it was RDP. So I had a remote connection into multiple servers as part of this migration work in the evening. And what I did, I renamed the wrong machine. So the central domain controller that managed the whole environment, I renamed that machine instead of the SCCM server. And I got a call from one of the engineers that was doing like some of the workstation stuff that they couldn't log in. And I was like, whatever you do not restart that machine, because if they would have restarted, it would have come up with a new name and would have been totally
God.
out. So yeah, and that was about 4 o'clock in the morning as well when all this happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Every time, the worst possible moment. Yes. It's unbelievable.
It's similar that we both did it over a remote connection as well, because you can lose track if you've got multiple windows open, remembering which machine you're actually on.
Yeah. One of my colleagues once had the wrong Kubernetes context. You know where this is going. He thought that he was logged into dev. And he wanted to just nuke everything.
Because why not?
I once on GCP, I was running Terraform, and I didn't check the plan, of course, and I ran it, and it said it ran for a long time, and then it said project deleted successfully. And it was the US production project.
Painful.
Heart attack instantly. Luckily, I was so thankful for GCP, and maybe that is the moment where I fell in love with GCP, because I started working with clouds at the same time, GCP and AWS, so I learned at the same time and eventually fell in love with GCP. Maybe that was the moment, because in GCP, when you delete a project, you have some time to restore it. And if you do it immediately, no data will be lost. It will start deleting data slowly, and it will along 30 days, it will eventually delete everything. But if you just nuke everything and notice it immediately, you can still restore it. I was very pleased with being able to restore it.
Yeah, those things are, life-saving, literally, Wow. Okay. Fun times. Also, the beauty of have the opportunity to work with these kind of things. It's like, oh, oops, the nuke button. Are you sure? Yes. What can go wrong? So yeah, everyone has some of these.
Yeah, I always find it the spicy side of working in the platform teams. And I don't know, like I've always worked in product companies and only switched to professional services about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So in product companies, like when you're in the core team, you are invisible to the business because you are a cost center. You're not generating revenue. However, you have the nuke button. You have all of the power, and regardless even if you've put in controls to not be able to do a lot of damage, you put those controls in, and you have the overrides because you are the core team. There is no one above you by the natural nature of the job, and it's not something bad. It's not something that we should fight or can fight. We can put in place like automation and measures to keep the systems as safe as possible, but the power is still yours. So it's always like this duality of it being a cost center, and like the platform team managers always have to fight for the budgets, and the projects are always like, oh, we need to do this. How do we get the budget and the capacity and the bandwidth to do something new, or like a tech debt migration or something? On one hand, it's always a battle like that. On the other hand, well, I can turn off your entire business.
Public service announcement to the platform engineers at the times. We love you, folks. So please don't nuke our website. So okay, I mean, true. Actually, yes, that's an interesting power balance kind of thing. Yeah. Ooh, I never thought about it this. I don't want that people take inspiration from it. And then all the sites in the world now, boom, boom, boom. Everything,
all these systems
crumbles.
just going down. Yeah.
Going down, no problem. Wow, we are 50 minutes in. So that conversation was really so interesting. That time flies. So the last 10 minutes, let's talk a little bit about community, because all of us are super crazy involved in actually different sides and different angles. So if you don't mind, Nat, me and Jai were talking just 1 second about Singapore.
Please talk about Singapore. Give me the FOMO. Make me
the FOMO. Yeah, I had the FOMO for Las Vegas. So, please share the FOMO about Singapore. Yeah, me and Jai went end of January, mid-January, sometime in January in Singapore with Google for the DCOC conference, Developer Creators Online Communities. Yeah, that's the full name. Oh boy.
Amazing.
That was something. Singapore, incredible city. It's really something else. It's many culture meeting together there. It's very interesting. It's the greenest, if that's even a word, city that I ever visited. The amount of green is insane. It's literally insane. So it was a really, really good experience. If I'm not mistaken, there was a kind of experiment run by Google, because that was the first time that they run that type of conference. Was not a technical one, right? Or not a Google product one. Was literally aimed towards the creators in our space. And then that was fun because you could find among all the invited people, everyone was there with the phone, try to create content. You feel like, okay, I'm embedded in all these kind of amazing influencers, people. I've got almost 2 million followers or 2 million subscribers on my YouTube channel. You're like, yeah, mate, I've got 65. So what? No, that was cool. That was cool. What do you say, Jai?
Yeah, I loved it. It was amazing. Meeting the extended community, similar to your experience, Natalie, meeting the Argentinian team, just meeting different people from the community that you might have met on Slack or virtually or something like this, was really cool. I love Southeast Asia, so I fell in love with Singapore. I think it's a really incredible, special place. And I think the fact that Google has such an investment on the community is really good in terms of they flew us all out. They hosted us in the hotel. They gave us access to all these kind of resources and allowed us to like network with all these really skillful people, really creative people. It's really cool. I hope they do it again. Hope it's back in Southeast Asia, or maybe South America would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish it was a bit longer as well. I could have stayed there.
I know.
How long
you
was
know,
it? It was 2-3 days, right?
Conference
It
was
was
3 days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was 3 days. So,
But
so
then-
quite long actually.
Yeah, for a conference, right? Because
Yeah.
of course, I talk with someone, say, yeah, oh man, I've been traveling for 13 hours, and it was like for me it was a 50 minutes flight, okay, because it was this person was literally living in either Malaysia or it was like there. It's like okay, actually like you, my jet lag. Oh, whoa.
Oh my
I couldn't sleep. I genuinely did not sleep. I slept 2 hours for 3 days in a row. By day 3, I was in a bubble. You know what I mean? When you don't know who you are. I was just, hanging around like a headless chicken. It was interesting, but cool. Okay, so Eddie is inviting us all to Thailand. Let's go.
Where's
Done.
my passport?
Yes. Thailand. So we're going to do a ChatGDG live from Thailand in December. Sounds cool.
On the beach.
Yeah.
Yes.
One actually fun thing about Vegas was that the hotels had swimming pools, so you could hang out in the sun and get a little bit of photosynthesizing. I was editing my vlog from Las Vegas and I realized that I don't have a photo of myself. I have loads of videos. I did a good job of
Really
videos,
interesting.
but I don't have a photo of myself where I look like something that you would put on the thumbnail of a YouTube video, because all of my selfies are like when where I'm in the sunshine, being like.
Okay. So you need to get a proper shot, like proper.
Yeah, I think I kind of like photoshopped something out of a selfie that one of my colleagues took when we were queuing for the Kubernetes security cyber incident response training.
The perfect moment, pretty much. That is like you in a nutshell. Okay. Cool. So yeah, that was great. What else? And then all of us quite busy with the community work side of things in London. Speaking of which, I haven't forgotten. So 3, 2, 1. Ta-da! That
awesome.
is Natalie's YouTube channel. So if you folks can scan this amazing QR code, you will probably go there and subscribe there first, and then she will eventually release a vlog about Las Vegas.
Yeah, Jai is in the vlog. Loads of community members are in the vlog.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
So it's coming soon. It was delayed by technical
issues. Yeah.
The joys.
Yeah, I know. So people scan, use your phone, scan this, subscribe, and just wait.
It will be soon. And my YouTube channel is in general like loads of conference vlogs, basically tech and vibes.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see what goes on in those events and conferences where we will go to, what happens to speakers, like how do you become a speaker, how is the organization done, because that's a whole different side to tech events that as an attendee you might not see. And like having organized a couple of events now and having spoken at a couple of events now, like on Thursday, there is an event in London in the Skyscanner in the evening in the Skyscanner offices. Now, when I go to conferences, and both of you, tell me if you feel the same. You notice things.
Oh yeah. Oh.
That was not planned. I know that was not planned.
Yeah. Yes, I totally see what you mean. When you are on the other side of the fence, and then you can start, developing these eyes, this, radar system of okay, yeah, that not supposed to happen. So yeah, but that's cool actually. So your YouTube channel really gives, I think, a very interesting angle, of, because I think last year you've been around like a globetrotter, pretty much. You went to a bazillion Deaf Fest and this and that. So yeah,
Yeah, last year was wild.
it was wild, right? This year is going to be as wild or slightly less. No, you say it's slightly less wild.
Yes, this year the goal was to be less wild, to do less talks and less conferences. But who knows? Like by now I am a little bit bored. So maybe the second half of the year will be
this urge to catch a plane. I need to fly.
Or train,
train, fair enough.
When I went to Deaf Fests in Europe, I tried to take trains as much as I could.
Fair. What about you, Jai? What's your years looking like?
Yeah, I'm getting a bit, I wouldn't say burnt out, but the traveling does take its toll.
Yeah.
So I'd like to diversify and do a bit more content creation as well. Maybe not videos, maybe more like code labs, like do like kind of workshop online, so to provide training materials and so forth like this. Yeah, I think I'd like to do a bit more, like diversify the kind of engagement I have with the community, and then possibly next year do a bit more traveling. The jet lag really gets
experience to do workshops. You've run loads of workshops with the GDG London community, so for you it's like right up your alley, right?
Yeah, for sure. And a quick plug: we're running a certification bootcamp with GDG London starting tomorrow. So if you'd like to learn about Google Cloud products, go to GDG London, search for us on google.com, and sign up. It's totally free. It's a boot camp for 7 weeks where we'll teach you. You'll get access to Google Cloud, and you might have the opportunity to get a voucher so you can sit the exam for free. But even if you don't, you'll get 3 months access to GCP to learn. So it'd be really cool.
Pretty valuable content, I would say. And also on the 14th of March, in 3 weeks ish, there is the IO watching party, if I'm not mistaken, that you've set that up. So she's another very valuable thing that you can just show up and mingle with all these crazy people in the tech industry, in the Google community space, which is amazing. Folks, time is up, unfortunately. I kid you not, I could do this until midnight or something. But I think that all of us, we just said we are busy people. So I think Natalie needs to get back to the vlog, and Jai probably needs to get back to something else. So it's been amazing having both of you here. Thank you for being here with me. And hopefully, that was
awesome.
What did you do?
It's hold the heart. If you're on a MacBook.
See.
Are you see? I just can't do that for some. No, come on.
No.
I am on a MacBook.
No, I'm on a MacBook.
What MacBook do you have?
What magic is this?
I'm a Zencore MacBook. No, but you don't know these things?
Wait, what?
I don't have the power.
No. Wait, I'm using an external camera.
You're using an external camera.
That's right.
Okay. If you're using a built-in camera, you can click on the little green camera button on the top right menu of your screen, and there is a reactions menu. And if it's activated, you will have.
Sorry, I really need to get to do this thing. So, thank you. I did not even know. Cool, folks. I will see both of you very, very soon, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, awesome. And thanks for all the people that watched that. And we are back next week with some other amazing guests. Probably Vadim.
Awesome.
Spoiler alert. Yes. Yeah. Okay, folks. Once again, bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And see you soon.